The night started like it was just a normal family dinner. Liam was only 3 months old. We were at my parents' house because they said they wanted to see him more. They said they needed to bond with him. They made it sound like they were doing me a big favor, instead of just being grandparents. They had dinner ready, and they were pouring wine like it was a holiday. My mom, Claire, even brought out her fancy glasses, the ones she only used when she wanted to look important. It was all so dramatic, like they wanted us to feel lucky to even be there. My brother Ethan had just been on a dance video online. Not even a big show. Just some small feature from a local news website. But the whole house was decorated like he won a world award or something. Glitter balloons everywhere. A big cheese board in the middle of the table. My mom called him our star about 10 times and counted his likes on Instagram while she served food. Liam was in my arms the whole time. His breathing felt a little strange. It wasn't loud or crying. It was tight and fast, like every small breath was hard for him. I tried to stay calm, but something didn't feel right. I told them quietly at the table, I think something is wrong with Liam's breathing. I think we need to leave soon. My mom rolled her eyes so hard it looked like she was trying to see her own brain. She said, he's a baby. Babies cry. Babies make noises. You panic too much. You ruin everything with your worrying. She waved her hand in the air like my voice was annoying her, and went right back to talking about Ethan's newest online comments. My dad, Robert, picked up his phone. He said, see? Ethan just got 24,000 likes. That's real stress. That's real life. A fussy baby is not an emergency. He wasn't even looking at Liam. He was just counting likes. But Liam looked worse. His face was starting to turn red near his temple. He wasn't crying like normal, more like he was hurting. Like something inside him was fighting to breathe. His tiny hands were curled tight, and his chest was moving fast. I need to leave, I said. I stood up, holding Liam close. I need to take him home or to the hospital. Dad stood up too and blocked me with his arm. Sit down, he whispered, but in a hard way. Don't you dare ruin this night just because you want attention. You do this every time. You make everything dramatic. Ethan laughed under his breath. She acts like the baby's a bomb that's about to explode, he said. I ignored him. Liam was burning up now. His skin was so warm, and his breathing was short and weak. I walked toward the hallway door with him, but Dad grabbed a rocking chair and pushed it in front of me, blocking the path. You leave now, he said, and don't expect us to take you seriously ever again. My heart beat fast. Liam let out a cry that sounded sharp and painful. I reached for my keys on the kitchen counter, but they weren't there. My mother had moved them. She was holding her wine glass and sipping like this was a game. She shook her head and said, you lose everything because you're always panicking. Maybe learn to keep track of your things next time. She had them. She wanted control. She always wanted control. She didn't care about Liam. She just wanted the night to stay focused on Ethan and her perfect little party. Give me my keys, I said softly. My voice was shaking. She didn't look at me. She just said, if you ruin Ethan's night again, don't bother coming back into this house. Ever. Ethan raised his wine glass and smirked. Cheers to finally having boundaries, he said. They all laughed. Liam was breathing so fast now I could feel his little chest pushing against my arms. He whimpered, and it sounded weaker than before. My panic turned into something else. Something cold and calm. This wasn't just a bad family moment. This was dangerous. This was them choosing a party and fake love over the real medical needs of a baby. I didn't care anymore about the chair blocking my way. I pushed it aside with my hip while holding Liam, walked past them all, and headed straight for the front door. Barefoot. I didn't look back. I didn't say a word. They screamed behind me. You walk out like this? Don't come crawling back. We're done with your drama. This is why no one wants you around. I didn't close the door. I didn't even stop walking. I carried Liam outside and started running down the walkway. I held him tighter to my chest like he was the only thing that mattered in the whole world. Because he was. I called an Uber with shaking hands. I could barely press the screen. While I was doing that, my phone buzzed. It was my mother. She texted, "If you end up paying some big hospital bill, don't come crying to us." I turned my phone face down inside the diaper bag. I didn't have time for their cruelty. Inside the Uber, I held Liam's cheek gently and whispered his name over and over, trying to keep him awake. Stay with me, baby. Mommy's here. We're almost there. At the hospital, nurses rushed him into a room. They put a tiny oxygen mask on him. They said he was in respiratory distress. That meant he couldn't breathe right by himself. They worked fast. My whole body was shaking. I tried not to collapse. While I stood outside the room, barefoot, hair messy, shirt wet from tears, I felt something very clear inside me. This wasn't just about that night. This had always been who they were. Not confused. Not unprepared. Just cruel. On purpose. They let Liam get sicker because he was not their favorite. Because Ethan was the one who mattered. Not me. Not my child. Liam got stable hours later. They said if I had waited any longer, things could have gotten worse. Much worse. When he finally opened his eyes and held my finger, I made a promise in my heart. I will never let them near him again. Not physically, not emotionally, not ever. I never went back to their house after that night. I didn't call. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I didn't give them anything they could twist. I just disappeared quietly. And silence hurt them more than yelling ever could. For the first 2 weeks, they didn't even notice I was gone. They thought I was just being dramatic again, like always. My mom posted pictures online. Wine nights. Brunch. Selfies with Ethan. Fake happy smiles. They weren't talking to me. They were mocking the idea that I ever mattered. Meanwhile, I was sleeping in the hospital half the time. Liam needed breathing support. Steroids. Care. Nurses taught me how to help him. I learned how to hold his head upright while he slept. I learned where to press his chest to check his breathing. I learned how to keep him alive even when I was scared. One night, around 2:30 in the morning, I sat beside his hospital crib and I remembered something from my own childhood. All the times they didn't care. All the times I thought their cold love was normal. My mom once said to me, "You don't need to be celebrated. You're not special." My dad once said, "Girls like you don't deserve easy help." They taught me to accept being disposable. But I wasn't going to let them teach that to Liam. 3 weeks later, Liam was finally well enough to go home full-time. And then, they finally texted. "Why aren't you calling us?" Not, "Is Liam okay?" Not, "Are you okay?" Just, "Why aren't you updating us?" I read the message. Then I closed it. More messages came. Voice notes. Then paragraphs. Guilt. Anger. Fake cries about family being broken. Then silence. Then more guilt again. While they played their drama games, I built a new life for us. I joined a support group. I found a new pediatric clinic. I got a remote job so I could stay home with Liam. Less money, more love. I didn't do any of it to hurt them. I didn't care enough to take revenge on them. But there was something happening inside me. Something strong. Something real. I was building a life where they could never again say, "You need us." I didn't need them. And Liam never would either. Months passed. Liam got stronger. I learned how to breathe without checking for their approval. I learned how to be a parent without hoping my parents would ever help. And then one day, I got a text. From Ethan. Mom's really sick. Dad can't handle it. We need you. I just stared at the screen. Liam was taking a nap beside me. I felt calm. I didn't reply. Not that day. Not the next day. After a while, Ethan sent another message. Dad said if you don't help now, you'll regret it forever. I was sitting in the park when I saw that. Liam was laughing and playing in the sandbox. I deleted the message. Regret was their language. Not mine. 1 week later, I got a letter from the hospital. They wanted updated family contact information. I crossed out my parents' names. Not with anger. Just with truth. Under the line, I wrote. No living family contacts. Not dramatic. Not sad. Just real. I mailed it. Then I walked back outside in the sunshine, holding Liam's hand. We crossed the street. Cars passed. People laughed. Life moved on. They were no longer in it. They never would be again. I used to think revenge meant hurting someone the way they hurt you. Now I know the truth. Revenge is living a good life without them. Revenge is peace. Please like and subscribe for more videos, also comment where you're watching from.